let's get into child's pose. So draw the knees out nice and wide. Let the belly come in between the space of your thighs. Let your forehead rest down. And you can either inactively reach your arms out, or you can let your arms come down by your side. So it's really important just to find a comfortable position, because we want to use this first few moments of our practice to press pause on our day, or possibly press pause on the stories that could be coming up for us, because yogis, this is our time to not necessarily figure everything out, but really just give ourselves a break from all that. So in the second sutra, it talks about noticing the fluctuations of our mind. So yoga gives us that. It gives us this opportunity to become the observer of the fluctuations of our mind. So then when we leave our practice, we're better equipped for our day. So a great way to start noticing the fluctuations of the mind, or sort of pressing pause on all that, is to start to breathe. So we'll take big inhales through the nose and really strong exhales out the nose. So we call this Ujjayi, and Ujjayi literally translates to victorious. So this victorious breath is something that we practice throughout the flow. Also, yogis, the breath becomes the barometer of the practice of the flow of our life. So when the breath feels sporadic or choppy, it means that we need to step back and take this pose that we're in now, child's pose. This is about progress, not perfection. So for those of you at home watching, whenever you need a break, child's pose is the best thing to take. So here, as we're starting to really turn on our breathing, we'll start to set some intentions for the practice. So the intentions are like little prayers or mantras or motivational sayings that we're going to just sprinkle on our mat and hope to allow them to plant and grow, not only in our yoga mat, but in our day-to-day life. So yogis, get clear on your intentions. What do you want to create? How do you want to feel? Focus on that. And then we'll find our way to tabletop pose. So in tabletop, we're going to just make sure our alignment is there, lining up the shoulders, elbows, and wrists, and the hips and knees, spreading your fingertips nice and wide. If you notice up front, Tiffany is lifting her wrist a little bit. That could be a nice thing to do if you feel like you're sore in the wrist, or if you have any wrist injuries. But remember, if you're deciding to take that modification, you want to really make sure that you're hugging your biceps and triceps in and hugging the shoulders down, so you're not collapsing in the shoulders. So we'll take some cat-cows, let the belly dip, relax the shoulders, take the eye gaze up, and find a big inhale through your nose. And then as you exhale, firmly press down, pull the belly in, and draw the tail down towards the back of your knees. Again, inhale, let the belly go. Cat-cows is a great way to start to open up your spinal column and create space. Exhale, press down, hug everything in, rounding out the spine. Again, yogis, inhale, nice breathing, relax the shoulders, make sure you're not sinking into the wrist. And then a strong exhale. Pull the belly in. Really start to fire up the muscles of the core and your back body. We'll do one more here. Inhale. As we start to breathe, we start to blanket the central nervous system, which is a great way to lower our cortisol levels. And then bring it in, chin to chest, belly to spine, tail under. Coming back to neutral, we'll take our eye of the needle flow. So reach your right arm back up and around. We do this to start to lubricate the shoulders in a way that's going to help to encourage synovial fluid to pump through the shoulder joint. Because we use the shoulders and upper body a lot in vinyasa yoga and ashtanga yoga and power yoga, it's really important to prepare the muscle in the joint for the practice. So on your next go round, rotate in the opposite direction. Remember, yogis, you don't want to sink down into the left wrist. This practice is all about creating space in the body. So think about the spatial awareness and your movements. On your next go round, we're going to take a big in breath, reach the right arm up. Now contract the back body. So you're trying to close this space in between your scapula off, fire up the muscles of the back to open up the front body. And then as you exhale, thread your needle. So you're taking your right arm and you are reaching it. Now think of that cue. You're going to reach it all the way towards the left. And then there's different things you can do from here. First and foremost, just remember, because you don't have gravity working against you, you can let the pelvis rotate. Typically in yoga, when we twist, we want to keep the pelvis free of stress, so we keep the hips square. You don't have gravity working against you here, so you can notice that the girls' hips are a little bit off. That's very normal, that's okay. Really breathing. You can press down, you can reach the left arm up, you can bind. Some people like to lift the left leg up. We do a lot of brain mapping in yoga, so we cross left and right hemisphere of our brain here. When you lift the left leg up, you do that. So sometimes you might fall, but don't get discouraged. Just pick yourself back up and try again. Beautiful, ladies. Come back to tabletop pose. Getting that alignment, ribs in, belly in. Same little flow on the left side, so the left arm moves back, up, and around. Big circles. The breath, again, is the way we move through the body. We're looking to see if we have sticky parts. Remember, if your shoulders do feel tight or sore, try not to back away from this stretch. On the next go round, rotate in the opposite direction. In yoga, we don't do a lot to open up the pectoral muscles, so this is a great stretch to really open up the chest. So feel the chest, the clavicles get broad. Inhale, yogis, reach your left arm up, and again, contract the back body because it's reciprocal inhibition. We contract one area of the body to create flexibility in the next. Exhale, go ahead and thread through. So reach your left arm all the way down. So we're here to bend, not break. So we want to make sure we're not clenching the jaw, clenching the shoulders. We want to try to smooth everything out. We're working on finding the energy centers that could be blocked and releasing the energy through them, the prana, the blood flow, the chi, the life. So wherever you are, maybe you're lifting your leg, find the stretch. And then exhale, release, tabletop. So we're going to pick up all 10 fingers and spin the palms backwards, stretching out the insides of the wrist. So the hot fusion flow is something that Kelly Green and I developed, and we had to really work with evolutionary anatomy. Typically, this would not be in a yoga class that you took maybe 10, 20 years ago, but we use our hands now in so many different ways because we're always looking down and holding our iPads and our cell phones, and we're looking down, wreaking havoc on our neck. So we added in these poses as a way to release some of that tension that we could create during our day. So let's flip the palms so they're flat and wiggle out the fingers. So it's important to keep that in mind as we evolve, our anatomy changes, our lifestyle changes. So make sure your practice is evolving with your life. Come back to center, yogis. Let's find downward facing dog. So we're nice and warmed up, so spread your fingertips nice and wide, curl your toes, lift your hips back and up. And we'll spend about 5 big breaths in down dog. So everybody's gonna feel a little bit different in the down dog. The down dog is our foundation pose. We wanna make sure that it feels good. Take into consideration that your elbows, wrist, shoulders are not weight-bearing joints, but your hips are. So get your body weight back. If you notice, everybody's in an upside down V position. If that's difficult for you to get in, then bend your knees a little bit and take some of the pressure off the backs of the thighs and angle the tailbone up. Remember, the alignment is more important than what it looks like, so you want to feel good inside the body. Working the heels down, but it's not necessary that they touch. Step the feet together and take the right leg back and up. Open up the hips, spread the toes, and spend a little time here. Bend and straighten the knee a couple times. Remember, our ultimate goal is to create space, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually in our body. So when your right leg goes up, did you close off and compress the left shoulder? Oftentimes that happens. You just don't want to live there. So if you dip into your left shoulder a little bit, it can happen. Just level out the torso when the hip is open. Nice job, everybody. Let's elevate the pose, so come high on the tippy toes. Let's start to round and curl the knee towards the nose. This is Nasasana, rounded plank. Notice how everybody's really lifted. That's protecting their joints. It's a deep abdominal crunch, so feel the core. Inhale, take it all the way up. Now everybody flex your toes. Internally rotate your hips. Work your left heel down. So work the waist really long and the hips nice and square. Come back high on the toes, that deep abdominal crunch, taking the knee all the way up to the nose. Now think about that cue. Don't take the nose back because that's going to jam your neck. Knee forward. Look forward and lightly step it through to lunge. It might take you a few times to get there. Get there when you get there. Press down and on your in-breath, reach your arms all the way up, high crescent. So sometimes you can be in a deep back bend here because you were down and you reached back up. So if you notice any compression in the lower back, you can soften your back knee and work your chest back a little bit, elongating. Again, think about creating space in your body. Inhale, nice job everybody. Reach forward, hover and hold. We get the heart rate up because we're working the bigger muscles of the body, like the glutes and the quads. It directly works our cardiovascular system. So enjoy that little spike in your heart rate. Taking your left hand down without crashing down, inhale, reach your right arm up. So the twist originates from your middle and upper spine. So that mid-back and upper neck area, thoracic and cervical spine. Just like we did an eye in the needle flow, contract your back muscles. So really fire up the muscles in between the scapula, down the big back muscles. They're called erector spinae. Everybody take your right hand down so you're in a lunge. If you want to move your back foot up a little bit, do so, but try not to, and straighten out your right leg. This is a Parsvottanasana variation. Now we added this in the fusion flow here as just a little bit of a means of a transition pose, so you don't have to get too down and dirty with the alignment. Just let the head go, pull the navel to spine, and breathe into the stretch, trying to really talk to that hamstring, ask it to open up. The more we open up the hamstrings, yogis, the more the hips are gonna get stronger and more flexible, the more the spine's gonna get more stronger and flexible, the more the shoulders are gonna open up, because everybody's the whole body is connected. So come back into right side lunge and find a plank pose. In plank, it's a full body integration. If you need to drop your knees, that's a great idea. You want to have your shoulders smooth, your ribs in, your core engaged, and your quadricep muscles lifting, so we're not sinking on the joints. We'll all drop down to the knees, and we'll take a modified chaturanga. So just drop the chin and chest down. We call this grasshopper. It's a modified chaturanga. Everybody's looks a little different. Just make sure your palms are back by your ribs and your elbows are hugging in, working the tricep muscles. Curl the toes and come down to the tummy. We'll prepare our body for Cobra series. We're gonna take 3. So we're gonna start slow and then get a little bit deeper into it. So exhale all your breath out, separate your feet hips distance, press all 10 toenails down, and on your inhale, lift up the chest. Now, because Cobra is allowing us to utilize our back muscles, you can check in and see if you can lift your palms. So here I'm pressing down on Maria's feet, and that is allowing her to lift and fire up the back muscles. If your feet lift up, think about possibly not lifting your hands up. Inhale, and then exhale, release the pose. Good, we'll do it again, second set. Exhale, inhale, rise up. So believe it or not, the people who have the most flexible spines have the most support in their back muscles. So their back muscles are super strong. So it's not just about sinking down into the chest and the lower back. It's about lifting and expanding. Slowly release. Nice job, Linda. Let's do one more. It's a yogi's choice. So exhale and then inhale, press down, lift up. So yogi's choice is where we offer in the flow just that. You as a yogi today on your mat, pick what kind of Cobra feels best for your body. So everybody's gonna look a little bit different, and that's because they're doing what feels good to them. Slowly release. We'll push back into child's pose, giving our lower back a little stretch. Really firm up the pelvic floor, firm up the core, and then we'll push back downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is a way for us to transition back into the breath and transition back into the intentions. So what are our thoughts? Our thoughts are creating our reality all day long. So yogis, remember to think about them and let them serve you. Step your feet together and take your left leg back and up. Same idea as just to stretch and get some mobility in the hip joints. So you can open and close, bend and straighten, whatever feels good. Again, we want to make sure we're not going so out of this realm of the alignment, because that's when we sink and that's where the origination of injury starts in a yoga practice. So even though our leg is up, we want to keep mindful that our torso is level and we're really hugging in. Come high on the toes, knee towards the nose. It doesn't matter how far the knee goes, you just want to make sure you don't take your nose back. Inhale, lift up. And then as you draw the knee back to the nose, look forward, press down, and lightly step it through to lunge. Again, if it takes you a few times to get there, that's fine. Press down to rise up, high crescent, Anjayasana. So again, sometimes if you feel like you're splaying in your lower back, what you can do is do this little roll the pubic bone up towards the chest and then the chest up, yes, and really come out of that lower spine area. Take a big inhale, and then exhale, yogis, reach forward, hover and hold. So we're gonna keep that little up dog in the spine because that will motivate us not to sink, and also that's really gonna get the heart rate up, which is a great way to strengthen the heart muscle. Take the right hand down, inhale, reach the left arm up, twisting the pose. So if you notice, all the yogis here have nice square hips. That is the goal, ultimately. We don't want to sink down into the right wrist just because we think we're twisting deeper. Remember what we talked about in the beginning of the class. We're here to create space in the body, so we create longevity of the joints and muscles as we age. Take the left hand down, inhale, and as you exhale, start to straighten out your front leg. And again, this is just a variation of Parsvottanasana. It's not the original variation of the pose, so don't get too locked up on that back leg. You don't have to bring it forward. Just use this to transition into that hamstring stretch. Just let the head go, chin towards the chest. The breath is deep, moving into spaces in your body where you feel tight or disconnected or sore. Beautiful job, guys. Bend back into the front knee. This time we're gonna press the back foot down and walk our way towards the right wall in a wide fold. So the feet are parallel or slightly pigeon-toed, so check in there. And then we'll take the hands to hips, press down firmly, rise up to a standing position. Now roll the shoulder blades back, open up the pectoral muscles, pull the ribs in, and reach behind you and take a bind. If you need a strap or towel, this is a nice way to grab it so you can get more space in the upper shoulder area. And then from here, once you bind, if your shoulders are really tight, you can soften the elbows a little bit. Inhale, look up, just to create space. Try not to sink into the lower spine. And then exhale, find a fold. We're stretching out the shoulders. So draw the chin down, let the back of your neck be long. And again, yogis, it doesn't matter what it looks like. You want to feel the stretch in the body. So we get 5 breaths in each pose, and that's for us to slow down and to really think about where we need to pause and stretch. Think about keeping the nice tight bind because that's going to really hug the muscles to the bones on the shoulders to protect the shoulder girdle. Beautiful job, everybody. Release, stay low, and find your peace finger grip. So take your peace fingers, bind the big toes. Inhale, get long and lengthen. And on your exhale, forward fold. So remember, yes, of course, they're using their arm strength, but they're also really utilizing their core and their back. Typically in class, if I see a student that has a really rounded spine, it's an indication that they're only using upper body strength and they're muscling into it. We want to make sure that we use core strength and back strength and leg strength. So many of these poses are full body integration. It's not just one area of the body that's working. It's our full body integrating together to create the stretch safely. So let's slowly release. Spin the left toes forward so you're back in your left side lunge. And then for today, we're just going to pick the back foot up and bring it all the way to the front of the mat. So we're in toes and heels touching in a forward fold. And let it go. Take a moment just to kind of ragdoll your upper body. Whatever little minor stretches or adjustments feel good to you. Sometimes it feels good to grab the heels and kind of pull in. Sometimes it feels good to grab opposite elbows. As you notice, everybody starts to do something a little different, which is perfect. That means they're working for their body. And then let's just ragdoll, pull navel to spine, press down and roll up 1 vertebra at a time, coming to stand. Take the shoulders towards the ears and then roll the shoulder blades back. Again, creating space in the front of our chest. Press down, inhale, reach the arms up. Upward handstand is not a back bend yet, so just lengthen the spine. Pull the ribs together. We call this a yoga core set. Good. Think about lengthening. Inhale, and then exhale, find a forward fold. Reach up and out. Let the head go. Line up fingertips with toe tips. If that's too intense, you can take your hands on your shins or use a block. Inhale, roll the shoulder blades back, Look forward, and then on your exhale, walk, step, or float, chaturanga. Remember, drop down to the knees if you need it. Inhale, upward facing dog, really spread the shoulders. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Big inhales, big exhales. This is, again, where we can use time to breathe, to connect, to let go, and to just find our space. Step the feet together, right leg sweeps the sky. So similar to Nasasana, we're going to draw the knee towards the chest, but then we're going to land in Warrior One. So we draw the knee in, and then we lightly step forward, press the back foot 45 degrees, and on your in-breath, rise up. So oftentimes you will hear the cue in a yoga practice to push the pinky toe edge side of your back foot down. Now that is good, but really what we're trying to do is lift the inner arch of the back leg to stabilize the back foot. So if you push the pinky toe down and you still sink, make sure you would make those slight adjustments, pulling the left rib cage forward. Inhale, lift the chest. And then yogis, take the hands to heart center, open up towards the left, Warrior Two pose. Remember, in Warrior Two, we're working on creating space in the hips, and then watch that the femurs lined up with the knee, the patella draw down towards the heels. We'll pump the warriors. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head to touch, squeeze in, relax your toes. And then exhale, Warrior Two. Remember, we don't want to dump the energy down, so stay present. Inhale, yes, reach up, lift. Excellent, relax your toes. Exhale, Warrior Two, keep hugging in. One more, inhale, come up and squeeze. And then exhale, Warrior Two, and pause. Flip your right palm up and exalt the pose. Reach up and reach back. So because we're trying to create space in our body, we want to make sure that we're not sinking. So sometimes in this pose, our left hand kind of pushes into the left leg and we sink there. Remember, just check in. Go through your body and make sure that you're utilizing muscle to bone connection to create flexibility. Warrior Two, place the forearm to thigh with the bicep to ear for extended angle pose. If you need in Utthita Parsvottanasana to stay here, stay here. If you like to go further, you can take the hand to the inside or outside of the foot, maybe a block, but remember the purpose is, good Michelle, to press down. So maybe don't even take the hand down if you think you might sink. And then everybody rotate your chest up, breathe. Press down, rise up, Warrior Two. Cartwheel both hands to the inside of your right foot, low lizard lunge. Pick up your back heel, drop your knee down. Give the body space. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe that right foot as much as you need to the front right corner of the mat. Some people like to keep the foot flat because that offers them a deeper stretch. Some like to come onto the blade. It's really up to you. Now, you can take your forearms down. If taking your forearms down seems too far away and just too difficult because you're tight in your back or hamstrings, then you can take blocks and place the blocks down so then the floor comes up to the pose, which is a nice option. So if you notice how Linda has a nice open throat, she's relaxing into her jaw, and then Daniela's head is down, either way is fine. You just have to see. If you constantly sink your neck down, 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 like hanging like a piece of really ripe fruit off the tree, you want to be mindful because that's pulling the upper trap area. So we want to just free up that space. So if your head is hanging, make sure you're not completely hanging on the cervical spine. Some of you like to take Ekapada Kundanyasana B here or a funky forearm stand. If you transfer into the transition that you like, that's fine. Remember, in these advanced poses, you want to make sure that you refer to looking at the tutorials before you just go into it, because there is a way that we can work into these poses safely. So these ladies have all been practicing and they know their alignment and they know their threshold. So maybe if it's your first time, you don't want to go into it. Nice job, everybody. Let's inhale, lift the chest so we're in lizard lunge. Plant the right foot down, keep the left hand close to the body like a kickstand, reach the right arm back, bend the knee, grab the foot. We're starting to really warm up and stretch out the quads. So believe it or not, everybody's quadricep muscle pretty much has the same capability of flexibility, but what happens is the fascia that protects the muscle is very, very different in people, and some is really tight and sticky. So this pose can feel super daunting at times. If it's difficult for you to grab your foot, maybe today's not the day, but if it is, the exhale is where we're gonna release some of that tightness in the fascia. So breathe into the exhale as you're stretching. Beautiful job, release. Heel toe the right foot to the midline of the body and shift the hips back for a half split pose. So in half split, we wanna try to keep the hips square. So here at the Yoga Joint, we are pretty sticklers about keeping the alignment in the hips when you do some of these poses, because remember, we don't wanna go around the pose, we don't wanna go under the pose, we don't wanna go over the pose, we wanna try to stick right there and move through it. It's not necessarily about making your body comfortable in the pose, it's about getting a little bit out of the comfort zone so you can grow. We've all heard that saying, we grow out of our comfort zone, so try to stay with your breath and stay where you can hold it. Nice job, everybody. Using your upper body strength, curl your back toe, press down and sweep the right leg all the way back and up. A little counter pose here, so open up the hip, bend the knee, and flip out your dog. So we just contracted hip, femur, really pulling up into the pelvic floor. Now here we're just expanding and breathing. So everybody take it to your capacity and feel the stretch all along the pelvis. Beautiful job, everybody. We'll find downward facing dog. And again, down dog is a means to recover. You can always find a child's pose here as well. But we love taking the down dogs throughout the flow, the entire sequence, just to recover the body. Step the feet together, left leg sweeps the sky. Come high on the tippy toes, just like Nasasana. You shift forward, knee towards the nose, look forward, and then lightly step it through for lunge. Back foot's 45, inhale, rise up, warrior one. So sometimes you'll hear right hip forward, right hip forward, right hip forward. You have to take into consideration that these poses are coming from India, and in India, their bodies are very different than ours. So if you can't get your right hip forward, don't stress out there. We don't want to torque the inner knee. So you're lifting the inner thigh. Maybe think about rolling the ribs forward. That might help you to feel like you're more square. Take your hands to heart center, warrior two. We're now facing the right. We'll pump the warriors to get the heart rate up. Inhale, come up, squeeze, straight legs, straight arms. And then exhale, warrior two, relax your toes. Inhale, big breath, reach up, pull it in. There's your breathing. Exhale, warrior two, sit low. One more, inhale, come up and squeeze. Exhale, warrior two, and pause. Let's flip the left palm up and let's exalt the pose. Reach up and stretch back. Sending that left knee and shin forward. So watch, yogis, that it's not coming too far in or too far out. You want to keep that alignment of the hip all the way down the thigh, down the knee, down the shin, into the foot. Come back to warrior two. We're going to add a pasarita here, so straighten out the legs and spin the toes towards the right. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, forward fold. It'll be a final set of the pose, so now we can explore yogi's choice. So some of you will go and bind the big toe. Some of you will reach out and grab the foot. Some of you like to take the bind again behind your back. Some of you will take a headstand, forearm stand, tripod stand, handstand. So everybody's gonna look a little different because everybody's working on something different. So yogis, falling is part of the practice. So when you go up, if you fall, that's normal. People fall in yoga every day around the world in every class. That means you're in a yoga class if you fall. What makes you a yogi is when you fall, you get back up and you try again and you have positive dialogue inside. Working on releasing any of that self-limiting belief systems that you have about your body falling in the first place. So remember, it's just practice. So if you're inverting, start to meet us back in a wide fold. Beautiful job, everybody. And we will continue to flow. So take the hands to hips, press down, inhale, rise up. When you're transferring energy from down below your heart to back up above your heart, sometimes you can feel a little bit dizzy, so just take a breath here. It's very normal. Warrior two pose, back where we started. Bend the forearm and reach the right bicep to ear. So left forearm to thigh, right bicep to ear. Again, we're in our extended angle, Utthita Parsvakonasana. Stay or take the hand to the inside or outside, feeling the rotation of our chest. And then again, yogis, activate your feet. Everything is building blocks. So we press down to rise up, to create the energy and the blood flow in the body. Warrior two, beautiful. Cartwheel your hands to the inside of the foot. Low lizard lunge. Drop back on the back knee. And then make sure the knee is pushing back a little bit on the mat, just to feel the stretch through the right psoas, staying on the blade of the foot or keeping the foot down. Take your time breathing. Some of these poses, again, can feel daunting or hard at first because the body is not used to it. But yogis, just like riding a bike, you feel shaky at first, and then you get stronger and stronger and stronger, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So stay there or take your arm balance. Ekapada Kundanyasana B is a great option. That funky forearm is a fun option. Any variations that you're trying. Again, take your time. Remember, you want to press down to lift up. Big inhales and big exhales. Working it out. Beautiful job. Slowly release. Excellent. Remember, the descent is just as important. We'll take our quad stretch. So we're going to place the right hand down, reach the left arm back, grab a hold of your foot. Keeping your feet awake so you can spread your toes a little bit, press the shoulder blades back. This is the sensation of a twist, yogis. So again, close off that space in between your scapula. Wake up those muscles, fire up the back to create space in the front. Roll the shoulders back, one more big exhale, work the heel in, and then slowly release. Heel toe the left foot to the midline, half split pose. Shift the hips back, thinking about opening up the hamstring, opening up the back of the knee, finding some awareness in the feet. The feet get stuck. Actually, in Chinese medicine, they work a lot on the bottom of the feet because it has a direct correlation to our organs. So this pose, if you really flex the foot back, you're stretching out the bottom of the foot, the fascia, directly toning the inner organs. Beautiful job, everybody. Find a lunge. Plank pose. Inhale, chaturanga, drop the knees if you need it. Exhale, upward facing dog. Nice job. Inhale at the top, and then exhale, downward facing dog. We'll take our hands all the way back to meet our feet at the back of our mats. Keeping your feet about hips distance apart, we'll either slide the palm underneath the foot for Padahastasana, or we'll take our peace finger bind at the big toe for Padagustasana. So it's a yogi's choice. Just like any fold that you're going to take in your yoga classes, you want to make sure you're not just using your upper body strength. Integrate the full body, guys. Get the breath active. The bigger you breathe, the better you're going to feel. The more you're going to blanket your central nervous system, the more you're going to lower your cortisol levels, and the better you're going to feel when you leave the practice. So if you're not breathing and you're contracting, then you're going to deplete the body of that energy. So big inhales and big exhales. Excellent job. We'll release the grip, press down, inhale, reverse swan dive all the way to stand. Big breath. Right hand is going to grab the left wrist. We're going to rotate the palm up, pressing into the feet. Inhale, and then exhale, sway the hips left and reach the body right. Ardha Chandrasana 1. So yogis, we are contracting the right side body to open up the left side body. Now I know contraction can be like a dirty word sometimes in yoga, but the reason is because when you contract one muscle, you can open, create flexibility for the other. So feel the long line of energy, quads are engaged, tail is neutral. Press down, relax the face, inhale, rise up to stand. Switch the grip, left hand, right wrist. Root down, inhale, rise up, exhale, push the hips right and reach the body left. So again, it's not about just sinking. That's where the difference between sinking and contraction comes from. So contraction is about really pulling muscle to bone. Sinking is just hanging out on the joint. They're very different. Press down, inhale, rise up, backward bend. Some people like to keep their arms interlaced with their hands interlaced with their thumbs crossed. Some people like to keep their palms facing one another. Some people like a supported back bend. It's up to you. 5 breaths. Now again, yogis, take into consideration that the people that have the most flexible spines also have the strongest back muscles. So it's not about sinking into the joints and closing off space. It's about pulling your muscles to your spine, lifting your chest, dropping your head back towards the end. Breathe. Inhale, lift up. That's it. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go all the way down. Walk out, downward facing dog. Nice, easy transition today. I really like to put these next 2 things together because we just did Ardha Chandrasana 1 where we had to hug in. Now we're going to take a side plank. So shift forward into plank pose. Pick up your right hand, bring it to the middle of your mat. Start to stack your feet and reach your left arm up. So in Vashisthasana, it's just like Ardha Chandrasana 1. You are hugging in. So you're lifting up, pulling the muscles in so you're not hanging on the joints. It's a really nice way to feel the obliques working. From there, if you like a variation of your choice, you know who you are. You can bind the big toe, lifting the leg, nice. You can starfish. Everybody's taking a little different variation. Linda in the back is going more towards a Visvamishtrasana, so it's yogi's choices. Keep your breath strong. Beautiful. Come back to plank pose. Now, if you want to amp it up, you can take a chaturanga back to plank. If that's too much, stay in plank. We'll go right to the other side today. Left hand to the midline, stack your feet, and reach your right arm up. Again, think about pushing your left hip into your right. That will solidify the spine and the muscles, working the core. If you stay, stay. If you play, play. It's up to you. Making sure that you keep your bottom hip as high as underneath your left armpit area. Breathing. Your back leg is like a Tadasana, so really engage. Yes. Slowly release. Plank, yogis, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So we really want to breathe in this down dog. That was a pretty intense little flow there. So make sure that you find your breath, working your hips up, working your heels down. Beautiful breathing, guys. 2 more here. Again, our thoughts create our reality, so make sure your thoughts are matching what it is you want. Inhale, and then on your exhale, look forward, walk, step, or float. Feet to hands. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Press down, reverse swan dive all the way up. Get a little energy in your spine. Back bend, lift up. Make sure that we're opening the chest, not sinking into the lower spine. Inhale, back up to stand. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go. Get the heart rate up here. Inhale, halfway, lift. Exhale, walk, step, jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, nice. Roll into upward face. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Big inhales, big exhales. Step the feet together, right leg sweeps the sky. We've been here before, warrior 2. So lunge, press the back foot down and cartwheel big, facing the left. Bend down into that right knee and connect with your inner warrior. Really stack the spine. Straight legs, zip up the thighs. Let's find triangle pose, Trikonasana. Inhale. And as you exhale, reach forward, reach, reach, reach. Then take your hand to the shin, foot, floor, or block. Once again, I'm going to remind you, when you take your right hand down, the purpose is not to sink down. The purpose is to push away from what you are taking your hand onto. So if it's the shin, floor, or block, it's all the same action. Press away so you keep the joints really solidified. If you like a bicep to ear, bicep to ear. If you like both biceps to both ears, that's super advanced. That's a near lamba variation of Trikonasana, which means unsupported. That is advanced, so take your time. Beautiful job, yogis. Press down, rise up. Inhale, lift. Exalt the pose, left arm down, right arm reaches back. We're here to expand, so expand the lungs, expand the chest. Beautiful. Take your hands to the hips. Heel toe the back foot in and pivot around to the front of the room. Working on a couple balancing poses, starting with Eagle, Garudasana. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. We'll swing the left arm under and we'll take the left leg up and over. Again, yogis, don't get too down and dirty with this. If you feel like it's difficult for you to wrap, you can reach and almost like give yourself a hug. And then same, if you feel like you can't wrap the leg around, just squeeze the inner thighs and sit. Now, if you are in the pose that these yogis are in and you like to bow, you can take that option. Bowing down will directly get the heart rate up because you're using big muscles of the body, which is the quads and the glutes. So nice, slowly release. We're gonna stay and add another balancing pose, airplane. Reach your arms out, body down, leg up, Dekasana. Again, take your time. Inter spiral that back leg. Good, lift the heart up. So let's gently press the back foot down, 3.5 feet. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then let's exhale, round and curl, forehead to knee pose. So this is where we can recover. So let it go, chin down, back of the neck is heavy, look up at the belly and round out the spine. Ardha Chandrasana 2, half moon, look forward. Now, if you need a block, use your block or take your right hand in front of the foot, 12 to 14 inches, as you lift the left arm up. Remember, this right hand connection to the block or to the floor is a means to press away, not to sink down. So everybody is very lifted. Free up the pelvis so you're not jamming the tail down or arching the back too much. We will revolve the left hand down, knee to nose. Give that hip a break for a moment. Breathe. Now, flex the left foot and extend the leg straight back. Revolve half moon. Left hand down, right arm up. We've already been preparing the body for this pose with the twist, starting right off the bat with our eye of the needle flow. So everybody looks amazing. Flex your toes. And then yogis, take your right hand down, bend both knees, and come all the way down to a seated twist. Let's get off the hips for a moment. Right hand at the base of the spine. Inhale, reach the left arm up, bend the elbow, and start to twist. So think about hugging the inner right thigh to the left rib cage. So you're really compacting the body. Sitting bones are pressing down, spine is lengthening, shoulder blades are drawing back and away from your ears, and then eventually the eye gaze will look back towards the back wall, and the breath is big inhales and big exhales. Awesome job. Little counter twist, facing the left. You can bow down, you can stay up, it's up to you, and then we'll find a straddle. So the right leg's on top, so just swing it to the back of your mat and swing the left leg to the front of your mat. So straddles, it's very important to keep your sitting bones rooted. If you're super flexy and you already have that mobility, you can rotate the pelvis and work the pubic bone down. But remember, oftentimes in yoga, you want to find your shackles before you find your imagination. It's not about how flexible you are, it's how you can control that muscle to bone connection to create that safe flexibility. So stay here, come down, but when you're coming down, just be mindful that you're not ripping the bone away from the muscles, away from the bone. So especially in the groins. Take your time. Oftentimes, ironically, the biggest thing us yoga teachers hear is, I can't do yoga, I'm not flexible. And that's really silly because super, super flexible people actually do themselves a disservice in yoga because they're always sinking, sinking, sinking. So that creates hypermobility, which leads to all sorts of things, arthritis, pruritus, all sorts of things in the body. So it's better actually to come in with this inflexible body and create the flexibility. Beautiful job, everybody. Release, lift the chest. We'll take the right leg to meet the left leg in the front of the mat, and we'll find Paschimottanasana, another hands to feet. So we'll walk the tush back a little bit, pressing into our sit bones. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, come forward. You can either find a peace finger grip or you can find a yogi grip, lock. You can grab the feet and pull the toes back. If it's hard for you to grab your feet, you can actually take a strap. But remember, you want to take the strap below the toes and you want to pull the strap towards your body and work your forehead towards the toes. 2 more breaths. If you like to eventually drop the head down, that can be an option for you. Towards the end of the pose, the back body will round a little bit. That's just fine. And then slowly release. We'll take boat navasana, a deep core work. Bend the knees, place the feet flat. You can reach your arms up. You can stay here if this is enough. You can lift the feet up just to eye level if that's enough. You can stay. If you want to go further, you can reach the legs all the way up. Spread the toes. Breathe. Lift the heart. Chest lifts. This is a very intense abdominal workout, so be mindful on your spine. And then yogis, lean forward, draw the right shin over your left shin. Take your palms forward and just simply step or jump back. Nice, easy transitions. Beautiful, everybody. Chaturanga, upward face, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Again, let's breathe. Big inhales, bigger exhales. Good. Step the feet together. Left leg this time is going to sweep the sky. Warrior 2. So the left leg steps all the way forward. So switch legs, Marita. Open up the chest. Bending into the knee. Good. Straighten out the legs. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, Trikonasana. Reach forward until you feel the stretch. Hand to the shin, foot floor, or maybe a block. But remember, we're not going to sink and overload the joint. We're going to really pay attention to how much we can hug in to expand out. Neutralizing the tail. If you like a bicep to ear, work the bicep to ear. Notice how when she worked the bicep to ear, her back body is really working. So she's really firing up these muscles. So maybe stay or bicep to ear. Float the pose. Remember, that is advanced. You want to make sure you got nothing funky going on in your lower back at all for that variation. Beautiful, everybody. Inhale, rise up. Let's exalt, just creating space back down the left side body so the right arm reaches down, the left arm reaches back. Awesome job, everybody. Come back to center. Take the hands to hips. Heel toe the back foot in. Pivot around to the front. Eagle pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, right arm under, right leg up and over. Inner spiral the thighs, sit low. Whatever you did on your right, whatever you did on your left, you do on your right. So we can create that symmetry in the body. Sit low. If you bow, find your bowing eagle. Everybody else, breathe, stay put. Awesome job. Dekasana. So you got to use your core. Lift out of the joints. Unravel the pose. Arms out. Palms a little higher than the shoulders. Now take the chest down and the leg up. You are firing up your inner thighs. Because we're a species that walks on 2 feet, we tend to have weak inner thighs and tight outer thighs. So yogis, square the hips. Get the back leg up. So remember the transition. We're just going to step the back foot back 3.5 feet. Yes. Now we're going to inhale, reach up. Now we're going to exhale, round and curl, forehead to knee pose. And again, just remember, we do a ton of brain mapping in yoga. So you're constantly taking left and right hemisphere of your brain and you're rewiring. So when you fall, that's so normal. And transitions like that can get a little tricky. Just be compassionate on the process. We're going to find half moon. Inhale, look forward. Left hand reaches out. Lean into it. Lift the right leg. So believe it or not, your sternum bone is one of the strongest bones in the body. So when you lean into the sternum, you find a lot of stability in yoga. So that's why we lean forward and then lift the back leg up. It's like this little seesaw effect we're creating. Flex the toes. Good, easy transition today. Take the right hand down, square the hips, knee to nose. So give your hip a little bit of a moment. Nice breathing. Now flex the toes like you're trying to push a heavy door. Push the leg back. Now stay there. Right hand down, left arm up. So remember, the twist is always going to be the same. Right rib cage rolls down without the hip moving. So you have to isolate these 2 areas of the body. Nice tiff. Left arm up. Reach. Breathe. Take the left hand down. Bend the knees. Come all the way down to the seated twist. Excellent job. So just kind of find your way. Shimmy into the pose if you need it. Left hand to the base of the spine. Right arm up. Inhale. Hug in. Take the elbow to the outside of the knee and twist out. So from the breastbone, we're opening up all the way down. Back of the shoulders, lifting the heart. Again, you'll notice that everybody's doing a little bit of a different variation. So you can grab the bottom knee, you can come and take the half bind, you can keep the arm like this. It's your choice. And then release, little counter twist, facing the right. And then we're going to take a second set of a straddle to the left or a frog. So frog is not really a fan favorite, but it is a great pose. So we got, see, like I said, we got one person in the class doing it. Oh, we got two. We got another taker. Oh, we got three. They're feeling the pressure. Just kidding, yogis. So whatever feels good. So frog is so intense. It's a great hip stretch though. I love pigeon and lizard, but frog gets you really deep into the hips, into the piriformis, into the gracilis muscles. There's so many great things working in frog pose. So if you're there, again, just be patient. It is advanced, it is intense on the body. If you're in the straddle, maybe, beautiful Michelle, beautiful Linda, go a little bit deeper. As you notice, yogis, they're in their second set, they are both deeper than their first. That is a nice thing to do to give yourself 2 sets of one pose. So in the second set, you can find more freedom. All right, yogis, release, push your chest up. Take the left leg to meet the right. If you're in frog, you can pull your feet together, come on your knees and come back on your seat. And then we'll do one more set of our Navasana. So bend the knees, place your feet flat, reach your arms up. Inhale, and as you exhale, lift the legs, lift the chest. Look up and breathe. Now, if you want to get a little bit more intense, you can come halfway down for half boat. Half boat is a great way to strengthen the lower back and the abdominals. Inhale, come up full boat, beautiful. Cross the left shin over the right shin. Take the palms forward, jump or float, chaturanga, beautiful, nice job. Upward face, inhale, inhale. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Coming through our home stretch, so sit back, exhale it out, walk, step, or float, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. With your toes and heels touching, chair pose, Tiffany's favorite, bend down. Inhale, reach up. So yogis, we are sitting, but we're not overwhelming or what we call in yoga, dumping the energy down. So we're sitting, but we're reaching. Come halfway to half chair. In half chair, the belly's touching the thighs, but the chest is lifting, so we're not collapsing, neutral neck. Now put the weight into the toes, okay? Lift the heels and squeeze the ankles together. We're really strengthening the feet, which is a great thing to do as we age. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Let it go, good. Some of you practice an arm balance here in crow. It's also known as crane. If you're practicing crow or crane, go for it. Remember, the ultimate goal in crow and crane is to have your arms straight. So try not to keep the elbows too bent. Over time, that will put too much pressure on non-weight bearing joints. So really press down, and then if you jump back, beautiful crows, everybody. If you want to walk, step, float, chaturanga, awesome job, yogis. Upward face, downward facing dog. Good job. So we'll sweep the right leg all the way up, and then we'll take pigeon pose. Draw the knee back by the wrist, come on down. Taking your time, breathing. In pigeon, if your hips are tight, you can slide a block underneath the right glute and hip area, and then try to let the chest come down from there. Keeping your hips square, lengthening the back of your leg. Taking your time and breathing. You'll notice that Linda's arms are forward, that Maria's in a prayer, that the girls up front arms are forward, and that Michelle is propping herself up a little bit. Again, yogis, they're doing what works best for their body. That is such an important part of yoga, is to figure out what works best. So as your teacher, I can guide you into some things, but you are your ultimate teacher. So listen to what your body tells you. Now you're more than welcome to stay here. If you want to lift the chest, bend the knee, and grab the foot, you can do that. As you're exhaling, you're working your heel all the way to the seat, opening up the chest. Make sure that you allow the knee to stay in line with your hip, and then you'll see, again, they're taking their exploration of the poses. We have a mermaid, a full Raja, so take your time, breathe. Awesome job, release, downward face. It's an optional vinyasa from here on out, so you can either stay in down dog or just clean your slate, plank, chaturanga, up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. So yogis, I just remembered that I forgot to flip the dog on the left side, so we're gonna take the feet together here and sweep the left leg up. Open up the hip, bend the knee, and flip out your dog. So really opening up the chest, freeing up the pelvis, and stretching out the pubic bone up to the navel, up to the chest, out the fingers. Excellent. Now take the left hand down, swing the left leg up, and then find a pigeon, which is a great transition as well. Taking the knee behind the wrist, dropping the hip down. Taking your time, breathe. So again, from there, you explore. Some people like to stay up. Some people like to use blocks. Some people like to come all the way down, taking their head down. It depends on what your body needs. Keeping the hips square. We take about 5 full breaths. We're starting to unwind from the vinyasa portion of the practice. So we start to take some of these slower yin poses. We hold them a bit longer. We have this information from the practice now. So we've really warmed up these areas of the body. And now we can take it down and breathe and get a little bit more particular in the hips, in the back of your legs. Awesome job. So stay or play. If you decided to play, do what you did on the other side. So you saw Daniela, she's grabbing a little bit of a strap, or she needs the grip there, so she put the towel over, which is a great thing to do. Again, yogis, using props can be a nice way for you to get into poses that you might not have gotten into. So don't think about the props as don't think about the props as a means to sink, just lift up. Good, so good, Maria. Release. And then this time, guys, we're just gonna swing both legs forward. Both legs forward, yeah. Pull the navel to spine, reach your arms out, palms face one another. Really slowly, one vertebra at a spine. Pull your belly in and roll down. One vertebra at a time. So good. Get all the way down on your back. And we'll pull the right knee to chest. So give yourself a nice tight interlace grip down to the webbings of the hands. Roll the shoulder blades down. Belly twist. Pull the knee across the body, reaching the right arm out. You can think about shifting your hips a little bit towards the right, a little bit of a softness in the back, so we're not tucking or arching too much. We're finding a neutral spine. A lot of times the student will say, should I have my shoulder down with my knee up, or my knee down with my shoulder up? Yogis, you have to figure these things out. You're not in a position where you're torquing your body at all. You're not having gravity take over, so you can see what feels best. Maybe lift the shoulder, let the knee come down. Maybe lift the knee and let the shoulder come down, and then maybe one day it'll all move in together. Slowly release. Other side, left knee into the chest. If you take a nice tight interlace grip, that's a way that you can help to bring that lubrication into the joints. We talked about the synovial fluid a little bit in the beginning of the practice. So that gives your body a little bit of a massage there, a little bit of a sending synovial fluid into the hands, helping with arthritis. And then release, take the left arm out, pull the knee across the body. Pull the ribs in, pull the belly to spine. And then again, what happens with the body will eventually happen. So let the shoulder stay up or down, whatever feels good. Same goes for the knee. Just breathe. Coming back to center, happy baby. So bend the knees, grab a hold of the feet. Just like you're stepping the feet on the ceiling, you're gonna flex the toes. Use your bicep strength to pull down on the feet, stretching out the hips, the groins. Again, we talked about the gracilis, the lower back, the sacrum. all these little areas of the body that get tight because we're this species that does walk on 2 feet, so we do put a little compression on this area of our body. Slowly take both legs straight up. Keep the chin slightly elevated away from the chest. You can use your palms to help you here. We're gonna lift the legs up and over into plow pose. Now, if plow is too intense, you can either completely opt out of the pose, or you can take a different inversion like a headstand. Sometimes if you have thoracic or cervical stuff going on, you might wanna opt out of this pose, but if not, this is a great pose to end the practice with because it really helps to boost norepinephrine, serotonin, oxytocin, melatonin, all these things that help us sleep better, help our mood be brighter, help us feel more energetic, and it really lowers cortisol levels. It's the way that the cervical spine is pushing into the brainstem and really moving up into the prefrontal lobe of the brain. So this is an excellent pose for our inner body. So you can stay here or hold the lower back and extend the legs straight up. Now when you take the legs straight up, it's an inversion, okay? So just like any other inversion, you wanna stack. So here Daniela's shoulders and hips and knees and ankles are stacked. Oftentimes, what you'll see is your feet and legs are way too far back. So think about lifting, always lifting, lifting, lifting. And then if this feels good, you can stay. If you like to take the knees to ears, we call this ear pressure pose. Again, this is a great way to tone and strengthen the inner body, the kidneys, the liver, the spleen, the stomach, the gallbladder, the colon. It's a great toning of our organs. Letting the body release, roll out of the pose one vertebra at a time. So decide here if you want to take fish or wheel as the back bend. If you're taking fish, your legs will extend out straight. You'll bend your elbows. You'll push up onto your elbows and you'll drop your head down. So Michelle back here is taking fish. She's taking her palms underneath. It's a great option. You can keep your palms by your side. She's really opening up her chest and her back. This is a great back bend for her, and Tiffany's doing it. And then the rest of the girls are doing the full Chakrasana or Urdhva Just make sure your feet don't sickle, girls. Take your feet parallel and your heels parallel, opening your chest cavity. Beautiful job, everybody. Slowly release. You can give yourself one more big hug, pull the knees in, thank your body for everything it's done for you and for keeping you in this practice today, taking your legs out all the way. We'll find our final Shavasana. So open up your palms and close your eyes. Yogis, oftentimes this pose can be the most challenging of all the poses, even though physically it is the easiest. Sometimes we come into our practice with such a busy mind that when we get here, we can't shut that off, but just like anything, it's a practice. The meditation part of yoga is a practice, just like it's a practice to practice a warrior two or a handstand. You want to give yourself time here. Try not to rush out of the Shavasana. You should at least give yourself 5 to 10 minutes so you can really start to download this piece into your body and then ultimately take that into your day-to-day life. So yogis, thank you so much for joining us here at the Yoga Joint for our Hot Fusion Flow. We hope you have a great day. Namaste.